The final domain in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Completing this challenge will unlock the Mod Runner achievement. This time, it's the Megalithic Domain. The challenges are interesting. When an enemy is left one-on-one, it becomes stronger. Also, all enemies in this location are exclusively Guardians. Let's see how difficult it is. The Guardians seem interesting, but they don't actually pose any real challenge. They're just as easy to take down as regular enemies if you use Assassinate from stealth. The battle against the Corrupted Daisho also goes off without a hitch. I can't take them down on the first try, so I have to engage in direct combat. At the start of the trial, it's interesting to see how challenging the enemies are and whether you can actually fight them. In reality, there's nothing difficult at this stage of the game. The right movement strategy for your character will let you take down most enemies without any trouble. Direct combat with the enemies is quite challenging. Their health depletes very slowly, but it doesn't seem impossible. Therefore, the first part of the 10th domain is surprisingly easy and effortless. Use all your throwing weapons to take out the enemies around you. If there are too many of them, you can always launch a surprise attack on one, run away from the others, and then return to the area to repeat the process. I only engage in direct combat with the enemy after first launching a stealth attack that depletes most of the opponent's health. There's no point in fighting a fully healthy opponent from start to finish. I found the last Corrupted Daisho particularly interesting. He throws poisonous kunai at you, and it's quite difficult to dodge these attacks. Overall, the fight against him is challenging, so it's better to retreat and attack him stealthily a second time. It seemed to me that this enemy was already part of the final battle, since my attacks against him did almost no damage. I realized that without the Assassinate ability, this would have been a pretty long and difficult fight, one that I might not have won on the first try. The enemy throws not only poisoned kunai, but also poison bombs. I wasn't expecting that kind of attack from him at all, so I was completely taken by surprise. Finally, the last Daisho has been defeated, so we're heading to the arena where the final battle of the 10th domain awaits us. You'll have to face Eamon Hathaway as the final boss. I was expecting a really tough fight, but it turned out to be surprisingly easy. First off, the guard breaker skill is perfect for breaking the enemy's armor. You'll need to use this skill twice to completely destroy the armor. That's good news. After that, the fight gets a bit tougher, but I didn't notice any particularly difficult skills that my opponent used. Everything is very straightforward and even simple. Sometimes even too predictable. You can easily dodge most attacks. They aren't complicated. For example, the fight against Momochi Sandao in the 8th domain was extremely difficult for me. I suppose the domain-specific challenges play an important role here, and this time there wasn't anything that really frustrated me. Sometimes the phantoms that appear and attack you can be annoying, but you can easily dodge most of these attacks. Eamon Hathaway himself moves slowly and doesn't attack very often. The boss's ability to dodge and counterattack with his sword deserves special attention. Here, you need to time your actions precisely to avoid taking that attack, as it's quite nasty. When I use the Tidal Wave ability, the boss takes damage from the first few hits, but simultaneously performs a dodge. If you use the Guard Breaker ability at that moment, he'll most likely be able to dodge and counterattack you. You need to wait until he stops dodging and stumbles backward in a daze. At that moment, you can use the Guard Breaker ability, and it will work perfectly and deal a lot of damage to the boss. There's no noticeable difference between this enemy's attacks at the start of the battle and at the end. It behaves the same way from the beginning of the fight to the very end. Therefore, you can easily learn its more complex attacks and successfully dodge them. So, the boss will be defeated soon, but I want to say a few words about this endgame activity that the developers came up with. From the very first domain, it seemed like an extremely difficult challenge, and I didn't believe it was possible to complete it. The most frustrating part for me was losing a save file where my character was at level 100. So I had to level up my character almost from scratch, from level 60 to 100, in order to successfully complete all 10 domains. In the end, I earned the Mod Runner achievement, and am very pleased with it. Looking back, I have to admit that it was interesting. The fairly large and varied number of challenges really makes each domain unique. That's why you can tackle this challenge again and again while gaining new experiences and exciting impressions. Of course, I would have liked to see more variety in the final bosses, but the fact that it's not always the same Eamon Hathaway is already a plus. Overall, I'm satisfied, even though this is the game's latest update. Share your thoughts on this activity in the comments. Did you like the gameplay and difficulty of domains, or would you prefer something easier but packed with content? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Moving forward, I hope the Assassin's Creed series continues to delight me with exciting new releases. I'm really looking forward to enjoying Black Flag Resynxed, and I'm also eagerly awaiting Codename Hex. What are your plans for upcoming games? And what do you think is worth checking out? See you in the next video, and I hope we have lots more exciting things ahead of us.